What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and this is a big one. This is a big video. You're going to want to watch this one all the way to the end. Kevin McCarthy and the Republican Party have released their bill for basically their budget bill and to raise the debt ceiling from the Republican Party. And remember here, when there's cuts, nobody's happy about cuts. When you can spend, whether it was underneath former President Donald Trump or Biden, spending money makes people happy. Cutting money, nobody's happy. No matter where the cuts come from, it's just not a good thing. And the Republican Party have released their cuts, and nobody's going to be happy about this. In fact, there's cuts to the military, there's cuts to SNAP benefits, there's cuts to needy families in this, and I'm going to show it to you all in this video. I'm going to show it to you directly here in black and white. First, I'm going to let you hear an excerpt from Kevin McCarthy and exactly what he has to say here about the budget and our state of America, and here's what he has to say. Take a listen here.
American people have elected a divided government. And our government is designed to find compromise. That's why the House, the Senate, and the White House should be negotiating a responsible debt limit increase right now. You know, if you gave your child a credit card and they kept maxing it out to the limit, you wouldn't blindly just raise the limit. You'd change their behavior. That exact same thing is true with our national debt. We need to lower inflation, reduce our dependence on China, and lift Americans out of poverty. America has a $31 trillion debt, and Washington is on the clock. But what are Democrats doing? President Biden is skipping town to deliver a speech in Maryland rather than sitting down to address the debt ceiling. He's giving America's debt the southern border treatment. Ignore it and hope that it goes away. In fact, he's been avoiding the issue for 77 straight days and counting. Now, Senator Schumer, he's just missing in action. Rather than find common ground with the House, Senator Schumer is having the Senate vote on a non-binding resolution commending and congratulating the University of Connecticut men's basketball team for winning the 2023 men's basketball championship. Now, that's not all Senator Schumer's been doing. Just last month, he's approved March as Maine's Maple Syrup Month. Talk about taking on big issues. I wonder what May's month will be about. When President Biden and Senate Democrats waste time, House Republicans are taking action. Today, I'm proud to announce that we are introducing the Limit, Save, Grow Act of 2023. This responsible legislation will be led by our Budget Chairman, Jody Arrington. Would responsibly raise the debt limit into next year and provide more than $4.5 trillion in savings to the American taxpayer. Now, here's how we do it. First, we limit government spending. Our plan would return discretionary spending to pre-inflationary fiscal year 2022 levels, and then limit the growth of spending to 1% per year. Now, these are the same levels we had just 4 months ago. I didn't hear, Mr. Speaker, a single Democrat complain about that level of spending. These spending limits are not draconian, they're responsible. Federal spending exploded in the past 2 years when Democrats controlled all, and that doesn't include the trillions of COVID-era spending. But limited government spending will reduce inflation and restore fiscal discipline in Washington. If Washington wants to spend more, it will have to come together, find savings elsewhere, just like every single household in America. Now, second, We're going to save taxpayers money. Mr. Speaker, the pandemic is over. House Republicans have already passed a bill to officially end the pandemic. And President Biden signed it into law just last week. Our bill would actually claw back billions of dollars of unspent COVID money that has sat for the last 2 years. The American people are tired of politicians who use COVID as an excuse for more extreme inflationary spending. Now, if this money was authorized to fight the pandemic, but was not spent during the pandemic, it should not be spent after the pandemic is over. Our proposals also repeal Biden's army of 87,000 IRS agents. Now, that will save taxpayers $70 billion, and it's going to protect the families and the small businesses from weaponizing the IRS. It will end the green giveaways for companies that distort the market and waste taxpayers' money. Now, Goldman Sachs just did an analysis, and they say the savings from ending these green giveaways are as much as $1.2 trillion. And we would prohibit President Biden's student loan giveaway for the wealthy. That will protect the 87% of adults without student loans for paying the loans of the 13% who do.
Okay, so that gives you a good idea of what he's talking about. Now for some actual details. Like I said, cuts to the military, cuts to SNAP benefits, cut to needy families. Here's the problem. Just speaking from a realist here, not a Republican, not a Democrat. The three biggest parts of the budget are the military, Social Security, and Medicare, if you just look at the dollars coming from the budget. And the Republicans don't want to cut from Social Security and Medicare right now. And there is some cuts to the military. And when you look at the budget, and if you don't cut from those three things, there's actually not a lot left over percentage-wise from the military, Social Security, and Medicare, percentage-wise, out of the budget. So what else is left? I'll show you. Okay, first of all, they're going to, if this passes, Democrats are going to hate this idea, first of all. We'll get to that here in a second. House Republicans' long-awaited debt limit bill features a $1.5 trillion increase to the debt limit. This would raise the debt ceiling only into next year, about till March 31st of 2024, so not even a year approximately. It would raise the debt limit by about $1.5 trillion, so not even a year. Not even a year. It proposes reverting discretionary spending caps or raises to 2022 levels and limiting growth to only 1% annually over the next decade, which is very, very slim pickings. Very, very slim pickings. As you can see here in this other article here from Reuters, it would cut the total amount of domestic and military spending to 2022 levels and cap growth at 1% annually in the years to come. I had hinted at this. I had actually mentioned this here maybe about a month or two ago to you guys here. And you could see it right here in black and white. And now this is in their actual proposal here. I actually got this because I seen Kevin McCarthy mention this one time. And yeah, so and he stuck with it. So luckily I happened to catch that. I didn't think he was going to go through with it because of all the things happening in Russia with China and North Korea, but they are, and it is a cut to the military, especially going forward into 2024, especially with the amount of inflation that we're dealing with. Remember, the Social Security got an 8.7% raise for 2023, and then think about going into 2024 with inflation of that, you're looking at even more than 8.7%, going into next year. You're looking at, from 2022 levels, you're looking at 10 plus percent from 2022. You're looking at probably 15% more. He's talking about going back to 2022. This is a significant cut for the military, especially with basically wartime, what we're dealing with right now. There is a war in Ukraine right now. We are helping fund that. China is threatening invasion to Taiwan. Biden has said we would actually put boots on the ground in Taiwan. He said that at least twice. Literally, we have Putin threatening nuclear war. It's a significant time right now. I'm not sure if it's a time to be cutting the military right now, but you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The problem is there's only so many places to cut if you actually want to cut money. Again, just being a realist here, if you want budget cuts, where do you cut from? Here's the next place they're coming from. This is not going to be very popular with millions of Americans. Not that that was very popular either, but take a look here. It would not touch retirement and health programs that are projected to expand dramatically as the population ages, Social Security and Medicare. The Democrats are likely to reject these proposals, but McCarthy said they would serve as a basis for negotiations over raising the $31.4 trillion. Failure to raise this would lead to default that would shake the U.S. and world economies and would be even worse. McCarthy's plan would repeal green energy incentives signed into law by Biden last year and boost domestic oil and gas production and scrap his $400 billion student loan forgiveness. That alone is going to make, I think it's over 20 million people pretty upset. They won't be getting that. 20 million people. I think is it 20 million or 40 million? I can't even remember off the top of my head. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that. It will take the money from the IRS. Again, if you're having a hard time getting your refund or even calling the IRS, this would make it even worse. All right. New work requirements on public assistance programs are also in the bill. This includes beefing up work requirements for SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, previously known as food stamp, which would basically mean cuts to food stamps, making it harder for people to get food assistance. For those between 50 and 56 years old, we won't know the full details on this yet. Again, this is not passed yet. There are also changes proposed to the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program. Needy Families, also known as the TANF program. There is also a portion of the bill that outlines work requirements for Medicaid. Remember, there's like 94 million people on Medicaid, and you can see it right here. A portion of the bill outlines work requirements for Medicaid. And as I said, it does not include changes to Social Security and Medicare as long promised by the Republicans. But as I've said previously, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or somewhere in the middle, like I am, they are going to need to make changes to Social Security and Medicare. It's set to run out. Social Security is set to run out in as little as 9 years, and Medicare is set to run out of money in as little as, I think it's 5 years. They have to make changes to these programs. They're not going to in the debt limit negotiations, but whether you're a Republican or Democrat, they have to, unless you just want these programs to run out of money. France just raised their retirement age by 2 years. Nobody was happy about that. We've already raised our retirement age by several years in the past during the previous administrations. So they're going to have to do something with that as well. They're not going to do it during this negotiation, but they're going to have to. Whether it's raising taxes, raising Social Security age, or creating different funds, they're going to need to do that as well. And none of this stuff is going to be pretty. As you can see here, cutting, not pretty. Raising taxes, not pretty. We're paying $1 trillion a year in interest on our debt alone every year. Not pretty. So let me know your thoughts here. I will keep you up to date here on our channel. There's going to be a lot of negotiations and a lot of kicking, fighting, and screaming over this, and it ain't going to be pretty. So make sure you click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon. That's the only thing pretty about this, is that it's completely free, and I'll keep you up to date here. So don't miss out on any new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. Also, thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you should watch next. The U.S. has just discovered China's supersonic secret spy plane. You can click here to see that. And Russia and Saudi Arabia have just screwed the US. You can click here to see that. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.